الرحيم صلى الله على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
أما بعد فقال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وهو الله في السماوات وفي الأرض يعلم سركم وجهركم ويعلم ما تكسبون. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
We have been speaking about our beliefs and also about practical aspects of our lives. Our aql has two functions. It has to deal with realities and what really exists out there. That's how we build our aqidah, and on the basis of aqidah we have Iman. And also aql also deals with moral decisions and judgments. Our amal, our actions in life are also coming from our mind, our aql. We are on the third verse of Surah Al-An'am. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَهُوَ اللَّهُ, and He is Allah in the heavens and in the earth. He knows your inside, hidden, sirrakum, wa jahrakum, and outside. وَيَعْلَمُ مَا تَكْسِبُونَ, and He knows what you earn. He knows what you taksibun, kasb, what you earn. I would like to continue our discussion in relation to Iman tonight. So, when we use the word Iman, the general idea about Iman is that to have faith in something. For example, you know that there is God who created, God who is also the Rabb, right? And God who is the Ma'bud, Allah, wal Khaliq, wal Rabb, right? Wal Ma'bud. Three things, right? I believe. So we should have Iman in this belief, Aqidah. It is our first of our usul, Tawheed. So Iman is about having faith in this Aqidah, right? And the word Aqidah is very close to Iman actually, because it is the aqdun fil qalb. It is the aqd in Arabic means knot, right? So it is Iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what I mean. Please recite a salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
But in the hadith of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam,
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Iman is not just the faith in the heart related to, for example, Tawheed or Adl or Risal or whatever, right? It's not just that faith in the heart. There is a whole chapter in Kafi. Kafi is a book of Hadith, one of our four primary books of collections of Hadith. The chapter that deals with Iman, one of the chapters, many chapters in it, one topic, subtopic under the category of Iman. Babun fi anna al-Iman mabthuthun li jawarih al-badan. Very interesting. That the chapter is titled like this, the topic of this section is Iman is spread in all the organs and limbs of the body. Mabthuthun li jawarih al-badan kullaha. And in this regard, there is a beautiful hadith over there. Of course, I cannot explain all the hadiths. But the theme, there's one theme of this hadith, which is really beautiful. I just want to section just a few lines of that. In the beginning of that, the Ravi asks our sixth Imam, أيها العالم أخبرني عن الأعمال. Oh Alim, tell me about the actions. Which of them is the afdal of all, the best of all actions before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So Imam al-Islam said, that thing, that action, ma la yaqbalu Allahu shay'an illa bihi. The best of actions, the most superior of all actions is the one without which Allah will not accept anything from His servants. So I asked him, وَمَا هُوَ? And what is that? Without which nothing else is acceptable. Imam al-Islam said, Al-Iman billah. Okay? Iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Ravi asked, please say the salawat. Can you tell me about Iman? What is Iman? Is it a qawlun huwa wa amal am qawlun bila amal? Right? Is it qawl, that means speech and actions together, right? Or speech without action? What is faith? Is faith something you believe in and the action that follows that belief? Is that Iman? Or the faith you have, qawl means faith. Qawl means the word, but you have to express it, right? So it's in the heart. Is it the faith? Faith is that inside, that goes along with what you say, how you express it. And is it that with action, followed by action, or just the faith in the heart without action? Which one of these is Iman? Imam al-Islam, his answer is very interesting. He says, Al-Imanu amalun kulluhu. Iman is all action. Now there's a time you would say something just to exaggerate, it's all action. No, Imam al-Islam explains. He breaks it down, that Iman of the eyes, Iman of the ear, Iman of the mouth, Iman of the heart, Iman of the brain, everything. Everything. There's Iman of this limb, Iman of that limb, the feet, everything, private parts, hands, everything, Iman relates to. So a part of the Iman is about the hand, a part is about the legs, a part is about the heart. Every section has its Iman. Please say the salawat. For example, in the history of life of Marhum Mir Damad, Marhum Sayyid Muhammad Baqir Mir Damad, he was called Mir Damad because he became the Damad of the Shah Abbas Safawi. And he was a student when he was young, and studying Islamic sciences and all that. And one day, the princess, the daughter of Shah Abbas, the king, she was out with her, her friends or other people, and then with a lot of people, obviously, company. And when she got lost somehow, they were walking or something, she got lost in the alleys of Isfahan. And she kept walking around figuring no idea which way to go. And it started getting dark. So she's a princess, very beautiful, with all the jewelry and everything, right? She gets scared now. What to do? It's dark, I'm alone, not used to wandering around in the streets. So she just sees this madrasa, right? It's madrasa ilmiya, right? And she walks into it, and one room of this madrasa, she goes pushes the door of this room, and it opens, and she goes inside and closes the door, thinking this is a madrasa, a religious place or something. Now, in this room, Sayyid Muhammad Baqir Mir Damad, young student basically, sitting there studying under the light of this lamp, like burning lamp, Shama, with this little flame over it. So now, she says something or whatever, probably salam or whatever, she replies. He doesn't even look up, look back, what, who, where, Obviously notices, doesn't look. She sits down in the room. Now he's busy with his studies. From that point, all the way till Adhan of Fajr, this girl is in this room. Marhum, this Allah Mirdama, this Sayyid Bakr is studying over there. Every hour or so, he brings his hand over this flame, this fire. One finger, he puts this one finger over the fire until it starts burning. And you can smell like this, the skin is burning now, right? Then he continues his study. Then after an hour or so, he brings another finger over this fire. Then pulls it back and continues to study, until he burned his fifth finger over the fire. Then they called Adhan. He got up, the wudu, whatever, and he left her. And she also went out because now it's getting brighter and masjid, people coming, all of that, and then she left her. And the king is awake all night. Everybody is worried, where is he? And she shows up in the morning. So the king said, where were you? And she tells her story that was happening. So he orders all the Rijaluddin to be summoned. The great feast he organized, all the Rijaluddin, all the ulama, students, everybody to be invited to the palace, someplace. Now he appoints people over there who walk around and look at everyone when he's eating the food. And they notice that one student is eating from his left hand. So they come and see, his right hand is put inside the Abba, and the left hand is eating his food, his meal. So they come and ask, Sayyidi, eating is mustahab with right hand, but you are eating with your left hand. He said that I can't eat with right hand, so I'm eating. So he said, why? He said, my right hand is not well. It's been hurt or something happened, I cannot. So he informs the king. So he's asked him to be brought to the king. So he asked him, Sayyid, what happened to your hand? He said, I was, He said, nothing. He said, what happened? He tells him, summarize the story, I was in my room studying and then somebody showed up and Shaitan came into my heart, trying to persuade me to do something wrong. So I immediately put my finger over the fire. And I said to my soul, my nafs ammar, my nose soul, said, if you can tolerate this, during this fire of this life, this dunya, then probably the fire of akhirat you will bear also the flame of hellfire. But if you cannot even tolerate this much, there's no way you can tolerate the fire of hell. And then after an hour or so, it's hurting. My hand is, again Iblis came to me. And again I burned my finger again, until the fifth one, until they called the Adhan. So king said, this is a person worthy of becoming my damad, worthy of becoming my son-in-law. So right there he ordered that marriage be arranged, akhd between his own daughter and Marhum Sayyid Bakr. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Imam alayhi salam said, Iman is spread in the body. Every limb of the body has a share of haddun min al-Iman. You cannot say, I have faith in my heart. No, it's just probably a small part of Iman. Where's the faith of the hand? Where's the Iman of the eyes? Where is the Iman of the ears? And Imam al-Islam describes Iman related to each part of the body from the Holy Quran in this hadith. Sometimes, this Muharram allows us some time, but there's just so much to learn, so much to be just reminded that there's such a thing out there, such a thing that we have to look into. And this school of Muharram, the school of Ashura, it prepares us. It is supposed to do our tazkiyah, tathhir, tahara, because we connect ourselves to Ahlul Tahara, right? Where we say, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمُ الرِّجْسَ أَهْلَ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. So he asked Imam to describe it. Al-Imanu halatun wa darajatun wa tabaqatun. Iman has different states, right? And different levels and different categories. And manazil faminhu tam, this Iman that is complete and perfect. Al-muntaha tamamuhu, at the highest level. وَمِنْهُ النَّاقِص الْبَيِّن نُقْصَانُهُ. This Iman which is naqis, defective, incomplete, which nuqsan, its defect is also very visible. وَمِنْهُ الرَّاجِحْ الزَّائِدُ وَرُجْحَانُهُ. And there is also Iman in which there's more, the Iman is stronger than the other thing. So the Iman in this person is the controlling force. But he has a lot of nafs amara is also very active. So there is a really weak Iman, always in danger or completely really in danger. And there's complete Iman, perfect. And there's in the middle where you are mu'min, but always in danger of losing it. Or sometimes losing it and then getting it back, right? Please say the salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So it's long hadith. I just want to mention in one part. For example, Iman related to the heart. بفرض وقد وكلت من الإيمان بغير. Every part of the body has given one duty to abide. This Iman of the hand that should be used to defend the haqq, for example, to keep away from haram, to, for example, helping the Muslim. And in the end, Imam al-Islam says all of these together should be standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The whole existence should be standing before Allah in prayer. You say tashahud in adhan also, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. What is shahada? I bear witness. Well, how can you bear witness about something you have not seen? I bear witness is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the servant and messenger. Well, how you have not seen it? So how do you give this testimony? This shahada, how? After 1400 years, we are saying Shahada Muhammad Rasulullah. How is this possible? That means aql has a very important function. You become a witness to something you have not physically seen, but your aql has completely accepted it and acquired yaqeen over it to the level that you can say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can never be seen with these eyes, and still you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. This is how much importance aql has been given in Islam. That the iman, that level of faith that you have, conviction that you have, yaqeen that you have, it is just as good as seeing something with your eyes. That you can actually say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. That when you know the dalail of Tawheed, when you know why there should be a God, there has to be a God. Francis Collins is a famous person in the United States. He was leading the Human Genome Project. For more than 10 years, he was coordinating the massive study going on, human genome, mapping the human genome with DNA and everything, coding it. Between 6 major countries where the research was going on, this man was heading all this. Now, he had a PhD in chemistry, then he got into medicine. Most of his life, he was an atheist. He spent all his energies trying to prove that, and looking for more evidence that there cannot be a God, and that you have collecting more evidence to prove that there just cannot be a God. He says that when I got into medical science, more and more in medical science, sitting on the side of dying patients. And then this project, all of this, he tried his best to disprove this belief in God, but he couldn't. So he began with this notion that to accept that there is a God behind all this is more plausible than to reject it. And then he said that it is not possible to disprove, to say that, for example, science cannot prove God, right, is the absurd statement that science cannot prove God, because science deals with material objects. And God is not something material. How can you use material evidence to prove something that is metaphysical in nature, that's supernatural, is something outside of nature, outside of physical creations? So to even expect or try to use material evidence, physical objects or something, to prove that, okay, here's the connection. No. The approach is totally wrong. And to see that how perfectly this system has come together, all the infinite elements coming together to make human life possible, and for human beings to be intelligent beings, right? There is just no plausible explanation of this, other than to believe that something from outside of this physical world has given it this existence in this form. And then he goes into, this theory, the first explosion. What do you call that? Big Bang theory. He says the Big Bang theory. He says the science talks about Big Bang and afterwards, but science has nothing to say about what happened before the Big Bang. How did the Big Bang happen? Who made it happen? That means from nothing to something. Science has no opinion about it. So the topic becomes a topic of philosophy. It is not a topic of science, because science is limited by what happened after the Big Bang. Then he starts noting, the major scientists said that the general population, for example, in United States, more than 90%, 94, 95% of people believe in some kind of God, some idea of a supernatural being that not only has created, but has also nurtured and guided and provided, everything, creation to whatever. And that even among the scientific community, right, there's a big section of that. He says 40-something%, and that has remained consistent from last research was probably 1960s or something, to 1990-something, where another survey was done among the scientific community, that more than 40% of them, they believe that they have this thing, that acceptance as a more plausible option, that there must be some creator who has created this. So this is there is this thing about, that it didn't come out of nothing. Didn't come out of nothing. Somebody created it. It's a being who created it, right? Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So then we have 3 concepts here. Just very, very brief. We have creator, Khaliq. So what is a Khaliq? Khaliq who creates out of nothing. Then you have the second concept of Rabb. Rabb means some sustainer, manager, someone who is mudabbir, who is Rabb. Rabb means like in old Arabic, the word Rabb was used for a gardener. Rabbu shajar, Rabb of a tree. Who is the Rabb of a tree? The gardener. Why? Because he provides, he nourishes it all the way, nurtures it. He plants from the seed all the way to the fruits and protects us from everything that in the environment or weeds and this and that. Waters it, right? The Rabb. The third term is ma'bud. The other word for ma'bud, ma'bud means someone to be worshipped or someone who is being worshipped, ma'bud. The word in Arabic for ma'bud, the other word is ilah. So when the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam he began his message, he said, "Qulu," all of you know it, "La ilaha illallah tuflihu." Say La ilaha illallah, you will have falah. Falah means success, eternal, ultimate success. There's nothing, glory, everything. Nothing beyond falah. Falah is the ultimate success of a person. He said, say La ilaha. He didn't say Qulu la khaliqa illallah tuflihu. He didn't say Qulu la rabba illallah tuflihu. He said Qulu la ilaha illallah tuflihu. Okay. Why didn't he say Qulu la khaliqa illallah tuflihu? Because the people of Makkah already believed Allah is the Khaliq. The issue was not that Allah did create or did not create. They all believed. Mushrikeen of Makkah, they believed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask them, O Rasul, who created the heavens and the earth? They will tell you Allah created it. The problem was that they believed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created it, but there are all these entities running this universe. Someone is providing food, someone is providing water, someone is providing strength in war, someone is providing peace, someone is providing money, another providing rain, someone is providing something else, sunlight. This is hundreds of gods. They provided they said for every category there is a Rabb. They said, Rabbun Naw, they call it. Arbabul Anwa'. This means Rabbun Naw, for every category there is one Rabb. Another category, if you want a child, if you want to have a child, awlad, you ask this Buddh, because this Buddh is an image, is a representation of that Rabb who will provide you, who has the charge of providing these things to you. But they said it without any proof. There was no proof. No word from Allah. Quran repeatedly says, tell me, where is it written? Who says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this charge, these powers to these entities that you call arbabun mutafarriq, arbab, arbab? Where's the proof? And so in Quran you will find all over the place, Quran's saying that, we created you from teen, from clay, then you brought him in the womb of the mother, and you grew into a child, and then he gave you another creation, which is the real human self, and then you came into this world. He provided you sustenance, He provided you, basirat, He provided you aql, you grew up, you have all these things in the nature, you have animals who you consume, you have means of transport, you have ships sailing in the sea, you have rain, clouds bringing rain to you. You have all these crops that come out of the ground. See how this system is working, look at the stars, how Allah has decorated the skies. Sun and the moon, they have their own cycles, they don't, come in the way of the other. They have their own system that can operate. How does that happen? At the same time, this is really interesting. At the same time, Quran says, "Sakhkhara lakum ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard." He has given you, he has made all this universe musakhkhar for you. Oh, Ibn Adam. Oh, human being, you are in control of this whole universe. Musakhkhar. Taskhir means to be cover something, cover something, envelope it, basically overpower something. So this question, how me, this small, invisible particle in this massive and expansive universe, if someone was to look at me from that distant millions and billions of light years ago galaxy, he wouldn't even see me, he won't even see me. How is this whole universe musakhar to me? Do we have kind of control over this universe? The Quran says you have control over. You have been given taskhir over this universe. How? Because you have the aql to know them, and they don't have the aql to know you. You have ilm. You can know everything about everything. But no other creation has this capacity. No other creation has the capacity, Well, angels have been given knowledge by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But every angel has a certain level. They don't have ikhtiyar like us. They don't have a physical body to continue to expand their knowledge, continue to increase their knowledge. Each has been assigned a place. But human being, they say sky is the limit. There is no limit. Neither for knowledge, nor for taqwa. Qurb ilallah. There is no limit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not set any limits. As-salatu mi'rajul mu'min. Salatul mi'rajuhu. Where does salat come from? There are duties in Islam, came in many places, in different situations. They came, duty of war came in this Medina, for example, to defend yourself. Duty of homes in another place, if you're zakat in another place. Different situations, time, cities, places, They had, the order came. But where did the order came for salat? The order of salat came in Mi'raj. Allah said to his Habib Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam,
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
U'budillah ka'annaka tarahu. Rasulullah said to Abu Dharr, said, worship Allah as if you can see Him. فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. Because if you cannot see Him, He surely sees you. As-salatu mi'rajul mu'min. So in your travel towards Allah, there is no obstacle, no, nothing in the middle. Nothing blocks your path to Allah except us ourselves. The block that we create, I am creating the block for myself. No other. No one to be blamed, not even Iblis. In the end, it's me to be blamed. What is limiting my ability to learn? Nothing. I am limiting my ability to learn. Many people who become agnostics, right? They really are not agnostic. They are just lazy. They just say, oh, I don't want to study. They just say, okay, they think they choose the easy way out. This is a business that is too much confusion about it. So I don't know if this is God or not, whether you can even find it. What? What does it mean? Something as serious as where I came from, where am I going, what is this life about? And I say, oh no, it's too much work. Doesn't make sense. It's just laziness. Why? Why laziness? Well, excuses make out of takabbur. Excuses make out of negligence. Out of shahwat. Out of love of dunya. How this soul deceives us, how Iblis comes and deceives us, makes those things that are far, far, far away, makes them look so close. He beautifies, makes it all look very glamorous. If you become the President of the United States, it's going to be great. If you become the commander-in-chief of something, if you become the judge, if you become this, you'll be great. I was talking to somebody, I said, what are you doing? He said, this CEO of this company, I'm a white guy. I said, well, so I said, you're still like on your, like going up in your career? He said, yeah. He said, so what happens when you reach to the top? I mean, what is your idea of like reaching top, really success? What will you find over there? What is it? What's after that? If you get to that point. For a moment he was just struck with, what is that? What will be different other than having, instead of $1 billion, have $50 billion, for example? What will be different? What will be different really? What will change inside me? Being a human being, right, is something which is not material. Being an animal is something material, right? I ask you, what is a good horse? Would you say a good horse is that which runs fast, strong, right? What is a good monkey? What is a good donkey? What is a good snake? More complete form of snake. You say, different things, physical properties. But I say, what is a good human? You cannot say runs fast, climbs the trees, swims deep in the ocean, lifts so much weight. You don't say that, right? What will you say? A complete human being, what is it? What is it? It is something that's all about. This is the Majalis of Imam Hussain brings these blessings for us, that we really think about something that you don't find anywhere else. These are just tabarrukat of Majalis of Imam Hussain. This is tabarruk is the food, or tabarruk is these matalib, this phase of Imam Hussain. The person as ignorant as myself, is had tawfiq to share this stuff that comes from doorstep of Ahlul Tahara wal Quds, household of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wassalam. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And from this household, everybody got everything. From this first Azhar, Azhar Khana, and happening all over the world. All over the world this is happening. Sheikh Abbas Qummi, Marhum Sheikh Abbas Qummi, was the compiler of Mafatihul Janan. And Mafatihul Janan is a book of dua, supplications. It's after the Quran, in every house of every moment, Shia, you have Najm Balagha, you have Mafatihul Janan. The barakat of this alim Jalil, Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi, Muhaddis al-Qummi, it surpasses every description. So his son was Ali, his name was Ali Agha, Mirza Ali Agha. After Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi passed away, there are many accounts of different things. So he became an orator, a khatib in Tehran, very famous. Very famous. And one year he got sick and he got cancer in his throat. And he started losing his voice. Came to a point he couldn't speak anymore. So in his house he wanted water, he would write it on a piece of paper and say, give me a glass of water. He could not communicate anymore. And for a wa'is, for a khatib, it's all about voice, right? If I cannot speak, what do you do? So and then Muharram came close. So he was very famous. So everybody came to him, where are you reading Majalis? Come to read this place, that place, And now he's saying, he cannot even talk. So now, every time people come to him, he has this thing, I cannot talk, I have cancer, I cannot speak. So he started feeling very sad about this whole thing. And one day, after Salatul Asr, he sat down and started talking to Imam Hussain. He said, Ya Abu Abdullah, I'm your khadim, I'm your servant, this is all I do. I don't do anything else, this is all I do. This is my main occupation is khidmat of your house. anything that relates to your house, I talk about. I describe it, I bayan, I talk to people about it. This is all I do. I mean, I've come to a point I cannot even talk to my family. I cannot even say ah. They cannot hear me say anything. I'm unable to communicate. And he was crying. Suddenly he saw himself in a room. And one half of this room is a little brighter. And he looks in that, he says, Imam Hussain is sitting, وجهه يتلألؤ كالليل في ليلة التمام كما. This is his beautiful face. And now, as he was saying, he continued to say in this experience he has with Imam Hussain, he says, Ya Abdullah, I'm your servant. I need help from you. Do not leave me like this. And Imam Hussain looks at him with the nazar of rahmat, rahim, like it's, with a lot of mercy on his face. He looks at him. And he says, go to that Sayyid in that other room, Sayyid sitting over there, ask him to read for you the Musibat of Ruqayya, my daughter. Ask him to read the Musibat of Ruqayya. If we call Sakina in Urdu, in Pakistan, India, Iraq, Ruqayya, 3-year-old daughter. Now, Imam Hussain was not present in Sham. So the Musibat of Ruqayya, he was not present. Yes, his head was brought to Ruqayya, but he had been killed in Karbala. So go to the Sayyid. So he gets up. He says, I got up and went to the Sayyid. I said, Imam is saying, read the Musibat of Ruqayya. He said, no, I cannot, I don't want. Perhaps he saw that it is too much for Imam Hussain. So Imam Hussain personally called him Sayyid. His name was Tabatabai. Sayyid, I want you to speak about my daughter. So he started talking about Ruqayya and Sham and Kharama, all that happened on the way. And Imam Hussain is crying as he's listening to this. He's crying and he's crying and crying. And he said, I am also crying along with Imam Hussain, obviously. And as I was crying, my voice became louder and louder and louder. And my eyes opened, my daughter was calling me and saying, Father, why are you crying? And I said to her, I'm crying at the Musibat of Ruqayya bint Hussain. He said, Father, you're talking? I hear you speak. From this house you can ask cure for any ailment. From this household. From the Haram of Abi Abdullah, I said last night, I think, when you are sitting in Majalis, you are sitting in Karbala. You're sitting in Bain al-Haramain, you are sitting either in the Haram of Abu al-Fadl or Haram of Abu Abdullah. And you're sitting facing this Zari, a place where thousands of angels come every day. In the evening they leave and then other angels come, they stay all night and they leave in the morning and then another 70,000 come and they never come back again. And when they come, they don't talk to each other. They come and they pay respects crying. And those who are going up are crying. And those who go up into the skies, they're received by Sayyidah Fatima Al-Zahra. When she cries loudly when she sees what happened in Karbala all over again. Tonight, briefly, I'll remember Muslim was the Safir of Sayyid al-Shuhada in Kufa. Muslim was Thiqati bin Ahl Bayti. Imam al-Islam sent Muslim to a city, all by himself. His situation was very much like Imam Hussain al-Islam. He was left alone. He took bay'at, and at the time when Hani was killed, arrested and taken and tortured, Muslim asked all his Ansar to come out. Those who had given bay'at, big numbers. And they came, laid a siege around the Baitul Amara, Darul Amara, and there were not many people inside. But Badr ibn Ziyad, he sent people, was announcing that the Jaysh al-Sham is coming. And also gave bribe people about blood, gold and this thing. People were scared or bribed. They left Muslim. The Muslim was left with 30 people at Maghrib time. And he was leaving the Bab al-Masjid, he had 10 people. He reached Bab al-Kinda, he had no one with him. He was all alone. Moving around the streets of Kufa, a stranger in the city. He reaches a point, he sees this elderly woman, Taw'a, outside her door. You have heard this. A Muslim stayed that night, prayed. She asked him around Fajr, you didn't eat anything, you did not sleep. He said, I briefly was about to, I closed my eyes and saw my Jad Amir al-Mu'mineen. My uncle Amir al-Mu'mineen, Muslim ibn Aqil, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Aqil ibn Abi Talib. He said, I saw Amir al-Mu'mineen in my dream. He was saying, Muslim, come soon to us. We are all waiting for you. And I realized this is the last day of my life. As they were talking, right, he heard the steps, the sound of the horses. Right? And all these people were surrounded the house. He asked for his sword. He picks up his sword. She says, stay in the house. It will protect you from three sides. He said, no, I don't want them to come inside your house. Muslim, he's pure, he has ghairat, he has Iman, he has haya. He goes out alone, outside the house. And he fights them. For a long time they asked for reinforcements, continued. There was no way they could have arrested. They dug a hole, they gave him false promises, took the long dialogue happened in the court. Muslims stood very strongly, did not say salam, did not bow his head. They said, why don't you say salam to Amir? He said, Laysa li Amir al-Hussein. There is no Amir. My Amir is only Hussein. And he's crying when he said, well, I haven't even done anything. Why are you crying? He said, I'm thinking about Hussein and his children. Hussein was coming this way because of what I have told him. When he started insulting Imam Hussein, he said, Muslim, he said, whatever you want to do. He cannot tolerate any insult to Imam sinners. He's taken on the roof of Darul Imara, he offers 2 rakat salah. Before being beheaded, he gives his last salam to Imam sinners. Assalamu alaikum. This is the Iman of Muslim from everything in his existence. That he is showing what is Iman. His eyes are, tears. His mouth is blood coming. He can't even drink water. He completed those maratib and darajat. And he was beheaded and his body was thrown to Darul Imara. I would say, Ya Muslim, till last night you were the Amir of this city. You had 18,000 or more people in your bayat. Today your body is being dragged in the streets of Kufa. Look at the mazlumiyat of Muslim. And when anybody dies, there are some women in the family or some neighbors, somebody cries, somebody has a tear in the eyes because of somebody who was killed. In Muslim is killed in Kufa, there's no one to cry for Muslim. Until the news of his shahadat gets to the ears of Zainab bint Ali. As a Muslim, you are very lucky. You have this sharaf that Zainab cried for you.